welcome back to the channel. It's Grayhammer today, and we're diving back into Planet Zoo to create a home for one of the most recognizable and charismatic primates out there, both the ring-tailed lemur and its little cousin, or large cousin, the red-ruffed lemur. I'm kind of creating this not as part of a real zoo, so this is the first time I've kind of done this on the channel. But, you know, the ring-tailed lemurs, they hail from Madagascar with their iconic black and white striped tails that held high like question marks. They're fascinating, live in female-led social groups called troops that are surprisingly terrestrial, spending a lot of time on the ground, and they even have that famous sunbathing yoga pose that you might get in the cinematics. But beyond being incredibly cool, ring-tailed lemurs are sadly endangered, due to major threats like habitat loss. So our goal today isn't just to build an enclosure, but to create a rich, stimulating environment that reflects their natural behaviors and needs. We'll need plenty of climbing structures, open areas for sunning, space for their social dynamics, and maybe even a spot for some tamarind tree fruit, which is their favorite. Let's get started and building an amazing home for these incredible Madagascar natives. I only really have time to talk about ring-tailed lemurs in this video, so we'll get to ring-tailed lemurs, red-ruffed lemurs in a different video. The ring-tailed lemur, or Lemur Catta is its scientific name, stands as one of the most recognizable and captivating primates on Earth. Endemic to the unique island of Madagascar, the species is instantly distinguished by its striking black and white banded tail, a feature that has contributed to its popularities in zoos and the broader cultural landscape. Beyond its visual appeal, the ring-tailed lemur exhibits a complex social life, fascinating behaviors, and plays a crucial role in the native ecosystem. Ring-tailed lemurs are exclusively found in the southern and southwestern regions of the biodiverse island of Madagascar. Their distribution spans from Fort Dauphin in the southeast, westward and northward to Morondava in the west coast. An additional isolated population exists near the Enrichment mountains of the southeastern plateau, apologies if I mispronounced that, highlighting the patchy nature of their current distribution. The northern and eastern boundaries of their primary range roughly align with the Mangaki River, further defining their geographical confines. Notably, the ring-tailed lemur is the sole member of the lemur genus, underscoring its unique position within the lemur family. This restricted endemicity to Madagascar makes the species particularly vulnerable to localized threats, emphasizing the critical importance of conservation efforts within the specific geographic area. The fact that they're found only in one place on Earth means that any environmental changes or human pressures within this region can have significant impact on their survival. Within their range, ring-tailed lemurs inhabit a diverse array of habitats, showcasing their adaptability to varying ecological conditions. These include arid, open areas, and various forest types such as dry deciduous forest, galleries, littoral, and montane forest. They are particularly adapted to spiny forest, gallery forest, and dry deciduous forest, often thriving in Madagascar's drier climates. Their distribution extends from sea level to significant elevations reaching up to 8,530 feet, or 2,600 meters, in high-altitude forest. While they show a preference for dense euphorbia and riparian forest, they can also be found in semi-arid regions that are some distance from continuous forest cover. Some populations have even colonized rocky outcrop vegetation and the subalpine vegetation found above the tree line, demonstrating their ecological flexibility. Interestingly, they exhibit a degree of tolerance for disturbed forest in areas with some human encroachment, suggesting a capacity to adapt to changing landscapes. This adaptability to a variety of habitats might contribute to their relative abundance compared to some other lemur species. However, it also means they are susceptible to a wide range of habitat destruction threats across these different environments. If these diverse habitats are being degraded or lost, their ability to adapt might not be sufficient to ensure their long-term survival. The ring-tailed lemur's ability to thrive in the harsh, arid environments of southwestern Madagascar, characterized by extreme seasonal variations in temperature and rainfall, underscore its resilience. Notably, they spend a significant portion of their day on the ground, more so than any other lemur species, which is considered an adaptation to the sparse and discontinuous vegetation found in their forest habitats. This terrestrial behavior allows them to efficiently forage for food resources that may be scattered across the landscape. Due to the sparse vegetation in their environment, they often range over considerable distances and consume a wide variety of plant matter to meet their nutritional needs. In some instances, they may utilize caves and steep cliff faces as refuge, potentially to escape the intense heat or avoid predators. Their overall adaptability enables them to colonize diverse habitat types and exploit a wide array of food sources, and the availability of water does not appear to be a major limiting factor in their distribution. This combination of behavior and physiological adaptations allows them to persist in challenging environments. Ring-tailed lemurs are medium-sized primates, body range ranging from 15.4 to 18.1 inches or 39 to 46 centimeters. Their most distinctive feature, the tail, adds another 22 to 24.4 inches or 56 to 62 centimeters to their overall length. Adult ring-tailed lemurs generally weigh between 4.8 to 7.7 pounds or 2.2 to 3.5 kilograms. Interestingly, males and females are generally similar in size and weight, although slight individualist variations can occur due to factors such as health and environmental conditions. This lack of significant sexual dimorphism in size is a notable characteristic, especially when compared to many other primate species where males are typically larger than females. This might be related to the female dominance observed in their social structure, where females maintain priority access to resources without relying on physical size differences. The most defining physical characteristic of the ring-tailed lemur is undoubtedly its long, bushy tail, adorned with 13 alternating black and white bands. This striking pattern gives the species its common name and makes it easily recognizable. The tail is not prehensile, meaning it cannot be used for grasping branches or other objects. Instead, it serves several important functions, including balance during locomotion, visual signaling within their social groups, and maintaining group cohesion, particularly when traveling through their home range. While some sources mention a slight variation, with approximately 12 or 13 white rings and 13 or 14 black rings, the consistent presence of these bands is a key feature. When ring-tailed lemur troops move through their territory, they often hold their tails high in the air, acting like visual flags to help keep all members of the group together, especially in dense vegetation. Beyond their iconic tails, ring-tailed lemurs possess other notable physical characteristics. Their body fur is typically dense and silky, with a base color of gray and sometimes a soft reddish-brown patches on their backs or rumps, while their bellies are contrastingly pure white. Their faces are marked by distinctive black masks around their bright, amber-colored eyes, set against white fur that extends to small tufts on the ears. They have a slender frame with a fox-like muzzle and relatively prominent ears. Their hands or feet are highly dexterous, equipped with opposable thumbs and toes that provide them with fine motor skills, essential for gripping branches, handling food, and grooming. Like other prosimians, they have a specialized grooming claw located on the second toe of their feet. Their lower teeth form a unique tooth comb, a set of 6 forward projecting teeth used for grooming their own fur and that of other members of their social group. Males possess scent glands in their wrist and chest, which they use for marking territory and in social interactions, including a spur on each wrist gland that aids in piercing tree branches for scent marking. The presence of these specialized grooming tools and scent glands underscores the importance of social behavior and communication in the lives of ring-tailed lemurs. Ring-tailed lemurs exhibit a flexible, omnivorous diet, allowing them to thrive in the seasonal, variable environments of Madagascar. Their primary food sources are fruits and leaves, which form the bulk of their diet. However, they also readily consume flowers, herbs, bark, and sap, diversifying their intake based on availability. Opportunistically, they will also eat insects and small vertebrates, particularly during the dry season when plant-based food resources may be scarce. Interestingly, they have been observed consuming less conventional items such as decayed wood, earth, spiderwebs, and insect cocoons, highlighting their adaptability in utilizing available resources. This varied diet reflects their ability to adapt to the environmental and seasonal changes in food availability that characterize their native Madagascar. Within their broad diet, certain food items hold particular importance for ring-tailed lemurs. Seasonal fruits, especially figs, are among their favorite foods, often sought out when available. They exhibit a strong preference for the leaves and fruits of the tamarind tree, also known as the kili tree, which can constitute as much as 50% of their diet, especially during the dry winter season when other resources are limited. Overall, ring-tailed lemurs are known to consume products from a significant number of plant species, with some studies indicating they may utilize up to 50 species within their range. They are opportunistic foragers, readily taking advantage of available food resources. dedicating a significant portion of their day to foraging activities, both on the ground and in the trees, distinguishing them from many other lemur species that are primarily arboreal. Their feeding sessions typically occur during the early morning and late afternoon, with periods of rest and socializing often taking place in the middle of the day. When foraging, they use their hands and mouth to secure food, employing a method of pulling plants towards their mouth rather than actively plucking food with their hands. They are often observed sitting on their haunches, much like a squirrel, while consuming their food. In some instances, they have been known to raid agricultural crops such as melons and sweet potatoes, indicating their adaptability to human-modified landscapes when food resources are scarce. The primary source of water for ring-tailed lemurs in the wild is dew or rainwater that collects on trees or in tree hollows. They are less frequently observed descending to the ground to drink water, typically only doing so when these arboreal sources are unavailable. They are highly social animals that live in cohesive groups known as troops, mobs, or even sometimes conspiracies. These troops are classified as multi-male groups with a core consisting of related females forming a matrilineal structure. The size of these social groups can vary considerably, ranging from as few as 3 individuals to as many as 30, with an average size of about 17 members. Maintaining high group numbers can offer several advantages, including improved defensive resources against other troops and enhanced vigilance against potential predators. A striking aspect of ring-tailed lemur society is the pronounced social dominance of females over males in virtually all circumstances, including priority access to food resources. This female dominance is a common trait among lemurs in general, making them somewhat unique within the broader primate world. Within a troop, the alpha female often serves as the focal point, frequently initiating the direction of group movements and playing a key role in social interaction. Interestingly, female ring-tailed lemurs typically remain within their natal troop for their entire lives, a behavior known as philopatry. Or philopatry. I don't know. While females hold overall social dominance, males within a ring-tailed lemur troop also establish their own separate dominance hierarchy. Despite this hierarchy, even males of lower social rank are typically afforded opportunities to mate, contributing to the troop's genetic diversity. A key aspect of male ring-tailed lemur life is their tendency to leave their birth troop upon reaching sexual maturity, which generally occurs around the age of 3. These males then migrate to other troops, a behavior that helps to prevent inbreeding and maintain genetic health within the wider population. Males may continue to change troops periodically throughout their lives, often every 3 to 5 years. Maintaining social bonds within a ring-tailed lemur troop is crucial for their well-being, and they engage in various behaviors to achieve this. Mutual grooming is a particularly important social activity, serving not only a hygienic function by removing parasites, but also reinforcing social and familial connections among group members. Females in particular often exhibit stronger social bonds with their female relatives within the troop. Troops will frequently huddle together, a behavior that helps them conserve warmth, especially during cooler periods, and also serves to reaffirm social bonds within the group. Juveniles within the troop engage in playful activities such as chasing and play fighting, which are vital for the development of both their social skills and physical abilities. Dominance within the troop is often asserted and maintained through various behaviors, including lunging, chasing, cuffing, which is a gentle slap, grabbing, and even biting in more intense situations. They are primarily diurnal animals, meaning they're most active during the daylight hours. Their typical daily routine involves a combination of essential activities such as foraging for food, engaging in social interactions with other troop members, and periods of resting. They tend to be most active during the early morning and again in the late afternoon, often utilizing the warmer midday hours for resting and further socializing. One of the defining behavioral traits of ring-tailed lemurs is that they are the most terrestrial of all lemur species, spending up to 50% of the day on the ground. When moving on the ground, they typically walk or run on all 4 limbs in a quadrupedal manner, often holding their long bushy tails almost completely vertically, with the tip slightly curving away from their body, resembling the shape of a question mark. Despite their terrestrial habits, they are also skilled climbers and frequently spend time in the trees where they feed, travel between foraging sites, and find safe spaces to sleep at night. Their strong hind limbs enable them to leap with ease between tree branches, showcasing their agility in arboreal environments. They're well known for their distinctive sunbathing behavior, often described as sun worshipping. Groups will gather in open, sunny areas within their habitat and sit upright in a characteristic yoga position, with their bellies facing the sun and their arms and legs stretched out to the sides. This posture maximizes the exposure of their less densely furred underside to the warmth of the sun's rays, helping them to warm up their bodies, particularly after a cool night, before they begin their daily foraging activities. They are most often observed engaging in this sunbathing behavior in the mornings. Ring-tailed lemurs possess a complex and varied communication system, relying on a combination of vocalizations, scent marking, and visual cues. They are considered one of the most vocal primates, with a large repertoire consisting of at least 15 to 28 different calls, each with its own specific meaning. Their vocalizations include various alarm calls to warn troop members of potential danger from both aerial and terrestrial predators, cohesion calls to keep the group together, and territorial calls to communicate their presence to neighboring troops. In addition to vocalizations, scent marking plays a crucial role to their communication. These scent glands are located on their wrist, chest, and even in the anogenital region, which they use to mark their foraging routes, establish territories, and even communicate information about their reproductive status. Males have a unique spur on their wrist glands which they can use to pierce tree branches before applying their scent. Visual communication is also important, with ring-tailed lemurs using their iconic tails held high like flags to maintain group cohesion while traveling, and employing a range of facial expressions to convey different messages such as staring to indicate a threat, baring teeth to show fear or submission, and a pout face for contact calls. During the breeding season, males compete in stink fights by rubbing scent from their wrist glands onto their tails and then flicking them at rivals to assert dominance. They also participate in jump fights, leaping into the air and slashing with their sharp canine teeth when competing for females. Ring-tailed lemurs exhibit a distinct breeding season that is highly synchronized. In their native Madagascar, this occurs from April to May. During this time, competition among males for the opportunity to mate with the females becomes particularly intense. Female ring-tailed lemurs are only receptive for a very brief window each year, often lasting just 24 hours. As part of the courtship rituals, males will engage in chases and perform those stink fights and jump battles to establish dominance and attract the attraction of those females. Interestingly, females have been observed to mate with multiple males during that short period of receptivity. Following successful mating, the gestation period for ring-tailed lemurs lasts approximately 134 to 144 days, roughly 4 to 4.5 months. Births are typically concentrated within a short season, usually occurring in August and September in Madagascar, a time when food resources are generally more abundant. Female ring-tailed lemurs most commonly give birth to a single offspring each year. However, the occurrence of twins is not uncommon, particularly when food availability is high. Triplets are a much rarer event. The timing of births to coincide with periods of food abundance highlights the crucial role of environmental factors in the reproductive success of the species. Newborn ring-tailed lemur infants are relatively small, measuring about 4 inches of length, and exhibiting the color patterns of adult lemurs, although often with more brownish hues. At birth, they weigh approximately 3 to 4 ounces, and possess the immediate ability to cling tightly to their mother's belly, where they will remain for the first 1 to 2 weeks of life. As they gain strength and coordination, they will then transition to riding on their mother's back in what's called the jockey-style position for another 1 to 2 weeks. By about 4 weeks of age, infants begin to walk independently and start to sample solid food after about a week. They become increasingly independent as they grow, but they will continue to return to their mother to nurse and sleep until they are fully weaned at about 5 to 6 months of age. Interestingly, all adult females within the troop participate in the care and raising of the young, a behavior known as alloparenting. Offspring typically achieve independence at around 6 months and reach sexual maturity within approximately 2 years, with females generally maturing slightly earlier than males. The ring-tailed lemur is currently classified as endangered on the IUCN Red List, a designation that reflects significant threats it faces to the wild. Their populations are not only decreasing but also becoming increasingly fragmented across their range. Experts estimate that the ring-tailed lemur population has declined by at least 50% over the past 3 generations, highlighting the severity of their situation. As of early 2017, the estimated number of ring-tailed lemurs remaining in the wild had plummeted to as low as 2,000 individuals, underscoring the critical nature of their endangered status. While other population estimates exist, the overall trend indicates a significant decline, making the threat of extinction a very real concern. The primary driver of this status is habitat loss and degradation, largely due to human activities. This includes the conversion of their forest habitats to farmland for agriculture, often through slash and burn techniques, as well as logging for precious hardwoods, fuel wood, and charcoal production. Overgrazing by livestock also contributes to habitat destruction. It is estimated that a staggering 80 to 90% of Madagascar's original forest cover has been lost since the arrival of humans on the island. This habitat fragmentation leads to the isolation of lemur populations, resulting in a decline in genetic diversity and making them more vulnerable. Additionally, climate change, which is causing more frequent and severe droughts in southern Madagascar, poses a significant threat to lemurs and the plants they rely on for food and shelter. Hunting for bushmeat, another significant threat in some areas of their range, sometimes involving the use of dogs to track and capture them. Tragically, traditional local taboos against hunting lemurs are beginning to erode in some regions. The illegal pet trade also poses a serious threat, with ring-tailed lemurs frequently being captured from the wild, often as infants to be sold as exotic pets. While natural predators such as fossa, hawks, boa constrictors, and though domestic cats and dogs do prey on wild lemurs, human activities are causing the greatest harm to this species. Introduced predators like those cats and dogs may be responsible for a higher number of lemur deaths than previously understood. The multitude of these threats facing ring-tailed lemurs, primarily driven by human actions, paints a stark picture and emphasizes the urgent need for effective conservation strategies. Despite the grave threats they face, various conservation efforts are underway to protect ring-tailed lemurs. They are found within several protected areas in southern Madagascar, although the level of protection afforded in these areas can vary. Encouragingly, ring-tailed lemurs tend to breed well in human care, and there are over 1,000 individuals residing in approximately 140 zoos around the world, with estimates reaching over 2,000 individuals as of 2009. The zoo populations are often managed through cooperative breeding programs, such as Species Survival Plans, or SSPs, which aim to maintain genetic diversity and ensure the health of future populations. Many zoos accredited by organizations like the AZA, Association of Zoos and Aquariums, actively fund and participate in field research and conservation initiatives focused on ring-tailed lemurs in Madagascar. Ecotourism, when managed responsibly, can also play a role in conservation by providing economic benefits to local communities, thereby incentivizing the protection of lemur habitats. Numerous conservation organizations are working directly with communities in Madagascar to implement strategies that address both human needs and wildlife protection, including habitat restoration, anti-poaching patrols, and the development of sustainable livelihood alternatives. While the success of captive breeding offers a potential avenue for reintroduction into the wild should wild populations experience catastrophic declines, it is not currently being actively pursued. The fact that ring-tailed lemurs breed readily in zoos and the dedicated conservation efforts are in place offers a degree of hope for the future of this iconic species. They require ample opportunities for climbing, so incorporating a variety of branches, both static and moving, ropes and cargo nets would be beneficial. This is all about creating actual habitats for them in zoos. As they are both terrestrial and arboreal, the enclosure should facilitate multi-level movement, allowing them to move freely between the ground and elevated areas. Adequate space is crucial for their social well-being, and recommendations suggest a minimum enclosure size of 1.5 by 2 by 2 meters for 2 animals, with the floor area increasing proportionally for each additional lemur. The enclosure should also include sufficient perching areas at various heights and multiple nest boxes to provide shelter and resting spots for all members of the group. Providing access to an outdoor area is highly beneficial, and their indoor housing should maintain a temperature range between 18 to 29 degrees Celsius, as they are a tropical species. A heated shelter within the enclosure is also necessary, especially during cooler periods. The floor of the enclosure should be constructed from a solid material to prevent potential injury to their feet. Given their dexterity and intelligence, secure enclosures with key-operated locks are recommended to prevent escapes. While natural sunlight is ideal, if outdoor access is limited, full-spectrum lighting should be provided. It's also essential to incorporate a variety of enrichment items into their enclosures to stimulate their natural behaviors and promote their physical and mental well-being. Ring-tailed lemurs are highly social animals and should always be housed in groups, never in isolation. While wild troops can be quite large, smaller family groups are common and often successful in captivity. Some institutions, like the Duke Lemur Center, have found that smaller groups of around 6 to 7 individuals can reduce competition and aggression compared to the larger troops seen in the wild. When introducing new lemurs to an existing group, it's crucial to do so carefully and under close supervision to ensure successful integration. Responsible population management is also necessary to prevent overcrowding within the enclosure, and reproduction should be managed accordingly. While it is possible to house ring-tailed lemurs in species enclosures with other lemur species, this requires careful monitoring of group dynamics to prevent potential conflicts. Providing a stimulating environment is essential for the well-being of ring-tailed lemurs in captivity. Enrichment strategies should aim to encourage their natural behaviors, including foraging, climbing, exploration, and social interaction. Foraging behaviors can be stimulated by scattering food throughout their enclosure, using puzzle feeders that require them to work for their food, providing browse, which is edible leaves and branches, and fresh herbs, hiding food items in various locations, and offering novel foods such as tamarind pods and insects. Physical enrichment can include a variety of climbing structures like static and swinging branches, ropes, cargo nets, hammocks, and swings to encourage arboreal locomotion. Sensory enrichment can be provided through olfactory stimuli such as scented bags containing coffee, tea, animal hair from other species, or various herbs and spices. Auditory enrichment such as playing natural sounds or soft music can also be beneficial. Social enrichment is naturally provided by housing them in appropriate social groups with opportunities for mutual grooming and play. Cognitive enrichment can be offered through puzzle feeders that challenge their problem-solving skills, and even through positive reinforcement training. The fundamental social structure, including the female dominance hierarchy, is generally maintained in captive environments. Researchers sometimes employ social network analysis to gain a deeper understanding of their intricate social relationships and dominance dynamics within captive groups. Affiliative behaviors such as mutual grooming or huddling play a vital role in reinforcing that social cohesion, and agonistic interactions, which include displays of aggression, may occur particularly in situations involving competition for limited resources like food, and they can be influenced by factors such as group size and composition. Interestingly, some studies suggest that maintaining smaller group sizes in captivity can lead to fewer intense dominance battles and reduce stress in the group. The presence of zoo visitors can sometimes have an influence on the behavior of captive primates, including lemurs. Studies have shown that increased visitor numbers can correlate with increased activity levels and potentially more aggressive, while simultaneously leading to a decrease in affiliative behaviors like grooming. However, it has also been observed that if animals have the ability to retreat from public viewing areas, the stress induced by visitor presence can be lessened. In the case of free-ranging zoo animals, they might experience more direct and intense interactions with the public, including attempts to touch or feed them. Research specifically focusing on ring-tailed lemurs in walk-through enclosures has yielded varying results, with some studies suggesting they may habituate to the presence of visitors over time. It's also important to note that environmental factors such as the time of day and prevailing weather conditions can sometimes have a more significant impact on their behavior than the number of visitors present. Ring-tailed lemurs exhibit a capacity for social learning, meaning they acquire new skills and information by observing the actions of other individuals within their group. Interestingly, studies have shown that lemurs who share stronger social relationships are more likely to learn from each other. Furthermore, when a lemur is frequently observed by others successfully solving a task, such as accessing a food reward, it may subsequently receive more affiliative behaviors like grooming from its peers. So that's about the time we have left. Our completed lemur habitat is pretty much almost done. We just have a few more minutes left and we'll be into the cinematics. I'm really pleased with how this turned out, and kind of doing these custom education boards as well was pretty fun. Thanks to Simply Savannah for these blueprints. They really helped me kind of create my own stuff as well. So I'll definitely be doing some more of that kind of stuff in the future. It was fun incorporating elements inspired by real life needs, remembering how social they are, how much they climb and use the ground, and their need for enrichment. Building habitats like this in Planet Zoo is also a great reminder of their amazing biodiversity out there and the challenges that these animals, like the endangered ring-tailed lemur and critically endangered red-ruffed lemur, face in the wild due to habitat destruction and other pressures. Every little bit of awareness helps. What do you think of the final build? Let me know your favorite part in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this lemur habitat come together, please hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to Grayhammer for more Planet Zoo builds and adventures, and thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I'll catch you in the next one. We're going to roll the cinematics here in just a little bit. Bye, guys.
Sarah Pond? Wel, je neemt.